Tori, your daughter is in front of our house right now for some reason. Can you explain why this is? I'm sorry, but 6 in the morning is way too early to have her over. And I don't remember inviting her over to our house anyways. Why did you leave her after all, by herself in front of our house? Tori, you need to answer right now.
Ugh, can you please stop spamming my phone? Do you know what time it is? What do you want?
That's my line. Why do you leave your daughter all by herself at a time like this? She was freezing when I answered the doorbell. What kind of mother does that to her own daughter? Where are you right now? And where is Andrea? I'm getting worried about what you might have done to her, judging by what you've done to Valerina. Please just give me an explanation about the whole situation.
Oh, yeah, about that. I'm leaving Valerina for you guys to raise. She just isn't worth my effort, you know? I hope you guys have a good time together, though. Sorry about the late notice.
What? What do you mean, raise? I don't know what makes you think this is a time to be joking around, but you need to stop. If you wanted us to let her stay at our house, then you should have at least let us know a day in advance. Even Valerina's crying because she thinks that you left her for good.
Well, she's right about crying, because that's exactly what I mean. I need you to raise her from now on. As in, like, she isn't coming back to our house anymore, so you need to give her food and shelter and education and stuff. She's not our child, she's yours.
What? You can't just leave your child at our house and claim that we have to raise her from now on. That has to be some typical child abuse.
I mean, you could sue us and bring her back to our house, but as you can tell from the situation right now, I do not care about that child, and she's just gonna have a very miserable life ahead. And if you don't take the role of raising her, she'll probably end up at some orphanage and live an even more miserable life. So, it's up to you.
You're sick. How could you do this to this beautiful child? Shame on you.
Say whatever you want. You can either take responsibility in making her happy, or just sit back and watch her life fall apart.
Why are you doing this to her?
Look, as you know, my husband died last month. And as a single mother, do you really think I can afford to raise 2 kids? While working to make money at the same time? Even with the inheritance that my husband left behind, the best I can do is provide a living for one of them.
That's a problem for you to figure out, and abandoning one of them is definitely not the way.
There's only so much that a part-timer can do, you know? I can only feed 2 mouths, and one of those is mine.
Then why don't you ask your parents to help you out a bit?
Oh my god, I hate my parents. I would rather die than rely on them.
How ungrateful of you to say that.
As I've said before, say whatever you want. Please be my guest. I don't care. So, given all of the information that I mentioned above, I realized that I could only raise one child, and the other child should be raised by someone more facilitated, which turned out to be you. Come on, you're my husband's younger sister and Andrea's aunt. Come to think of it, Andrea's basically your own daughter.
What are you on right now? There's no way that you really think that logic is going to justify all of this.
I'm sure your husband is gonna be excited about having a daughter too.
But this isn't our child.
You said that you would support me in whatever way necessary at the funeral. This is the help that I need right now, so I need you to cooperate.
But this is all so sudden and out of nowhere. Have you at least tried to ask for support by the government or something? There's tons of ways to help raise your children, and scholarships and child support.
It's too much of a hassle to go through all of that paperwork, and I don't have the time to be dealing with all of that right now.
You can't tell me that you can't do even that for your own children. Please get your priorities straight. This isn't the same thing as buying a puppy. We're talking about your own child here.
It's just easier to make you raise her. Therefore, it makes more sense to just do that. Come on, quit being so stubborn and help out a sister.
I would have helped you out with all of the paperwork that you needed if you had just said it was what you needed. It isn't too late. Let's go to the city hall together and see what kind of financial support you're eligible for. How could you abandon Valerina all by herself like this?
I mean, if it came down to choosing one of the two, I'm pretty sure that anyone would have chosen Andrea.
I would never choose one of my kids over the other.
Everyone says that until they're actually demanded to make the decision. Valerina is always whining about something and never shuts up. On top of that, she's so slow and dull in the mind. She won't do me any good even if I keep her, so I'm letting her go.
Whether a child does you any good or not, it's a parent's responsibility to love and protect the child. How dare you label your own kids like that?
You can say whatever you want, but when it comes down to making a choice, the answer is always obvious. Andrea never complains, and she's always smiling. She is so unproblematic, so I'm sure she has a far better chance of making it in any type of job. Therefore, I'm investing in her.
What do you mean by investing in her?
I'll raise her for now, and once she's able to get a good job, she can make all of the money, which I'll live off of. It's a great plan, isn't it?
You're really going to isolate your daughter from her sister and make her work like a slave? Are you serious?
Of course I am. They say work smarter, not harder. This is my smartest way out of being poor.
You're crazy.
I'm really not. It's the child's job to take care of their parents, and Andrea has a far better chance in making lots of money. Therefore, it's only natural that I put in more effort for her instead of Valerina. That's why I gave you the stupid one. Good luck raising her!
I've never met anyone as obnoxious as you. You know that? I feel horrible for Andrea for being chosen and forced to stay with you. Our family has our own plans too. We can't just take Valerina in and make it work. Please just come to our house so we can discuss all of this. If you can't come, then I'll drive Valerina over to your house. Which would you prefer?
What about neither? Andrea and I are moving today, so I'll never see you again. Sorry.
What?
We can't afford to keep living in the apartment we used to live in, so I decided to take my daughter and move into a cheaper place. It's a bit far away from here, but my friend owns the place so I can live there for practically free. Isn't it amazing? That friend's gonna introduce me to a new workplace too, so I'm basically well off at my new location. We're resting at a restaurant by the highway right now, so I won't be coming back.
So you're just texting me to stall until you got on the highway?
I mean, you would have brought her back if I left you an option, so… Come on. When you come to think of it, this is the best for all of us. The girl wouldn't have been treated well if she was stuck with us. And you like kids. It's all for the best.
A parent is supposed to give their life to stay by their child, not to sell them away because they don't need them.
Well, I guess I'm not your practical parent then. Look, the house that we used to live in isn't ours anymore, and I have no intention in coming back. So, might as well have fun raising the girl. She's a bit dull, but she's still fun to mess with. You got this.
This has to be illegal in some way. Hey, don't do this to your daughter. Don't do this to us. Just tell me where you are right now. I'll head there, so please just tell me.
Not a chance, honey. I know you're trying to push Valerina back to me. Won't let that happen. She's yours now, so treat her well. I hope y'all have a happy future together. Bye-bye.
I'm not done with you. Hey, Tori, you don't have to do this.
Hey, Bella. Long time no see, right? How have you been?
I'm sorry, who is this?
Oh, don't tell me you've forgotten about me. It's me, Tori. You know, your legal sister, the wife of your older brother. Come on, we both know you remember me. Quit playing dumb.
I actually do not remember you. Or maybe it's just that I'm instinctively dismissing the existence of the horrifying person who abandoned her own daughter after my older brother died 10 years ago? Neither me, my husband, or our beloved daughter Valerina can recall you. Sorry.
See, you do remember. How have you been? I can't believe you actually went out of your way to raise her instead of abandoning her. Props to you, girl.
What do you want? After all of these years, without giving us a single call or text, not even checking on Valerina at all, the audacity you have to be talking to us right now. Don't tell me you've reached out to us after all these years just to check on her. She doesn't need you anymore. She understands well that you don't care, and that we do.
Why would I go out of my way just to do that? I'm not as bored as you might think.
What do you want then?
Can you give Valerina back to me?
What?
She's already 15 and she's not a child anymore. So I'll have her work for my friend's store, starting next year, so I need her back.
Are you hearing yourself right now?
Of course I am. Loud and clear.
Then I'd assume that even a crazy person like you would understand that I would say no, right? You're the one who left her behind at our house in the first place. You have no right to be asking us to let her go back to being with you. She's practically a daughter to us, and we would never make her go through such a thing.
Yeah, I get it. As much as I'd like to say you're right, I really need another worker right now. So please, give her back.
What happened to your other worker?
Oh, Andrea? Well, she ran away from me last night.
Ran away?
Yeah. I started online gambling as a game to pass some time, but I got a bit carried away. And now I'm stuck with a bunch of debt. So I told Andrea to work instead of studying for college. And she ended up running away.
What the hell are you doing? Is it that hard to be a decent parent?
Apparently so. So, can I have Valerina back?
What kind of adult would let a child enter that environment? No. My answer is no. So please don't contact us ever again.
Okay, let me rephrase it. I'm demanding you to give me my daughter back. You have no right to say no to this request. She's not your child. She is my child, and I have the legal rights as her parent. And Valerina has the responsibility to help me pay back my debts as my child. Got it?
Actually, Valerina is our child. Legally.
But I never signed any papers.
As soon as you left her with us, we went through legal procedure to adopt her. So now she's ours, and we have no right to hand her over.
What?
She is our daughter of my husband, so good luck paying back all of your debts alone.
What? You can't just do that without the permission of me? I'm her mother. She is my daughter by blood. This whole thing should be illegal.
It really isn't. There's a way to adopt a child without permission of the parent. I won't go to any specifics since you probably won't understand any of it anyways. But we were legally admitted as eligible for becoming family through court. And you and Valerina are legally strangers.
You're lying! You can't do that! I'm her real parent. She still has to listen to me.
Actually, she doesn't. We didn't just adopt her. We went through a foster care adoption process, which basically means that there is no legal tie between you and your daughter anymore. This actually requires the agreement of a real parent. But since you were gone for so many years, the court decided that you were incompetent in making a decision upon this case. Therefore, we didn't need your agreement to make the decision to go through. Valerina is our child, and I will protect her from you with my life. You will never lay a finger on her ever again.
Then who's gonna help me pay back my debts? I can't just do it on my own. How am I supposed to get out of this?
I guess you're going to have to work on your own. You can't just keep relying on your kids and other people, including them, forever. Just help yourself, and you'll be fine.
Then what was the point of giving birth to 2 daughters? There's no point in having kids if they're useless to me when I need them. I won't let this happen. I will not allow this. You know what? You need to resolve the adoption. go through the legal procedures and make her my daughter again.
No way. I don't like paperwork, and I'm too lazy to go through that whole process, so...
Quit messing around. I'll be on my way to bring Valerina back. You better be ready.
Where are you headed to?
To your house.
Do you know where our house is?
The place I dropped Valerina off 10 years ago?
I'm sorry to tell you this, but our family actually moved to another state a few years ago because of my husband's work. So you won't find us at our old house. Sorry.
What? How dare you move without telling me? This is my kid that you're dragging with you. I deserve to know where she is whenever I want.
Again, she's not your daughter.
Why is it always me? Why do bad things always happen to me? Why can't everyone just do what I ask them to do? Help me, please. I can't pay off my debts alone. I'll be stuck working for the rest of my life.
As strangers, we have no responsibility to helping you. Sorry.
Why not?
Why don't you take a deep breath, close your eyes, and ask yourself, have I really done nothing to be deserving this right now? I'm sure you'll be able to get yourself an answer. Since I'm done addressing this situation, I'll be going now. I'm sure neither I nor Valerina will ever be seeing you again. So, farewell. Apparently, Tori tried to go and look for Valerina and Bella, but wasn't able to do anything since she couldn't pay for the gas to get anywhere. After that, she tried to work her butt off to pay back her debts, but ended up borrowing even more money because of her online casino addiction. After reaching out to illegal sources or money laundering, she was caught by the members of a gang and was forced to work as a prostitute. After acting upon impulse, Tori ended up getting herself in a living hell situation. Not that she didn't deserve it. FYI, Andrea was taken to her grandparents' house after a few days since she ran away from her mother. And now she lives with her grandparents and goes to high school like any other student. Valerina is also a high school student now, and she's pursuing her dreams as a nurse, going to school every day with her friends. In the end, I'm extremely grateful that everyone ended up at a better place, and I think everyone other than Tori is glad about how things ended up.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Hey Carmen, are you there? Oh my gosh, how long has it been since you and I last talked? It has to have at least been a whole year now, right? Isn't that so crazy? I guess that must have been when I stole your super smart, super rich boyfriend John from you, huh? Man, to think that you were so close to living an easy life and not having to worry about money or working or anything like that ever again. But you must have been pretty shocked when you realized that you were betrayed by him for me, huh? I mean, what was the bigger shock, having your husband leave you for another woman, or that the woman was your own sister? That must have been like a double whammy for you. Don't worry, I know all about how you probably feel about it, but just because I understand doesn't mean I'm going to be giving back John to you anytime soon. Are you seriously texting me at 3 a.m. just to send me this crap? Can you at least wait until the normal hours of the day before you start trying to brag about how amazing your life is to me, Lisa? Well, you were already up anyways, right? I actually just happened to get up to use the bathroom, if you must know. But if you're still trying to lord something over me from a year ago, I've moved on and don't care about you or John anymore. What is that supposed to mean, huh? It means that I'm going to bed, because it's 3 a.m, Lisa. Hold on a second, we weren't through here. I still have more that I want to say to you. Well, I'm already putting my phone down, so... I really can't believe that you're such a sore loser that you would rather pretend to go to sleep than listen to what I have to say. You must be so scared of having to face the truth. That's why you act like this, huh? You really think I bought that my messages didn't get you wide awake or that you're already over losing John? I know that your heart is still just so full of love for him. You probably spent the rest of the night just crying into your pillow, didn't you? All because you can't handle the fact that you were beaten by your little sister who is living a much better life than you now. You think you can fool me with some half-hearted message about being over the past? There's no way that I'd ever buy that. But now that I have you at a decent time of day, I just wanted to let you know that you are never going to get John back from me. You're going to be single and poor for the rest of your life, and there's nothing that you can do about it, ever. Got it? Hey, why aren't you responding to me at all? I see that you've already opened up these messages. Well, as long as I have you here, I also just wanted to let you know that I saw you going into your tiny shack of an apartment building. To think that you used to be a housewife to someone who was rich and successful, and now you live in a messed up little place like that. I've always wondered what it's like to have to live in a place like that. Care to share any of your thoughts with me on the matter? Right, well, I guess whether or not my apartment is really all that bad is more in the eye of the beholder, if you ask me. I mean, I pay over $3,000 in rent a month, so I think it's pretty nice, but I guess others might not see it that way. Hold on a second. You pay over $3,000 a month for that place? Is that supposed to be some kind of joke? Or did you just tell me the wrong number? You're telling me that it's a 3 followed by 3 zeros, and you pay even more than that? I know that you live in one of the worst parts of town, and you expect me to believe that not only do you pay that much in rent, but you think that it's not a bad place? It has nothing to do with the eye of the beholder or anything. You just have a terrible apartment and are lying to me about it. So you mean that it's really been a whole year since you and John ran off together and you still haven't figured it out? Figured what out? What are you talking about, huh? Just what kind of game are you trying to play here? You mean you really have no idea at all about what's been happening to John's dad's company? Quit talking in circles and just tell me what you're going on about. I am not going to play some little guessing game with you. Got it? I'll try and make this quick for you then. When you and John got together last year, I really was shocked and didn't know how to react at all. But that's when I noticed the mistake that you made. The only mistake that I could exploit to my advantage. Do you have any idea what I could be talking about at all, Lisa? No, I don't, because you sound like a crazy person rambling about nothing. I know that you're just mad and jealous of the fact that I'm living the good life with John, and no creepy or threatening thing you say is going to scare me or change that fact. Well, okay then. I suppose I won't bother finishing my thought then, but just don't say that I didn't warn you. You didn't warn me about anything at all. You're just acting as if I'm supposed to know some big obvious fact that you're refusing to tell me. You really know how to get under my skin, do you know that? I get that you're still mad because I stole your husband, but that's no reason for you to still be so upset. I mean, just take it as proof that I'm the better sister between us and leave it at that. Just face it, I'm full of beauty and brains and everything you're not. You're certainly full of something, at least on that we can agree. What did you just say to me? Just what is that supposed to mean, huh? Why are you always such an awful jerk? I really don't have time nor the energy to get into this with you. But I've given you more than a fair warning. If you really don't know what's going on under your own roof, though, well, that's not my problem in the slightest. Yeah, I'm so scared of whatever fake story you've come up with to try and scare me, you liar. You really think that I'm going to listen to what some poor lonely old hag has to say to me? I bet you're just mad from living in your tiny little apartment squandering your lonely life away, and this was the only thing you could think of to relieve some stress. But I'm not going to fall for it. I'm better than you and above this petty nonsense. And by the way, John and I are about to leave for a trip overseas, so what do you think about that? We've been taking these trips every couple of months since him and I got married. This could have been your life if you were good enough to keep your man. In fact, this time, it's only been 1 month since our last big trip abroad, so you can go ahead and be jealous of us while we go do some globetrotting. Right, well, that sounds like none of my business, but I suppose I just hope that you can enjoy it while you can. That's what I thought, loser. I knew that you'd have nothing to say to that. Carmen, are you there? Do you have any idea about this? Just what is going on here? I know you know, so give me some answers now. Oh, Lisa, so lovely to hear from you. Did you and John make it back from your trip okay? I hope that you enjoyed your little vacation. Welcome home. What do you mean, welcome home? That's exactly what I'm messaging you about. There isn't any home for us to go back to. I'm sorry, Lisa, but I'm sure that I have no idea what you're talking about in the slightest. What do you mean there's no home? I mean that we got back from our trip and then we were going to go to John's parents' house where we've been living. But when we got there, there was a construction crew there and they were in the process of tearing the house down. Oh, that. Right. I had almost forgotten all about that, to be perfectly honest. You mean that you know about this? Is this what you mean in those messages you were sending me last month? Is this what you were trying to warn me about? No more games. I want answers right now. Well, if it's answers you want, I wouldn't waste your time talking to me. You should go and talk to John's parents instead. I'm sure they would love to fill you in. What is that supposed to mean? Do they know about this? Is that what you're trying to tell me? You mean you haven't even tried reaching out to them at all about this? You might have talked to some of your neighbors there about what's going on, but I'm sure they probably don't have too much more to say to you than they moved. But it's because they don't know what's really going on. Why don't you try calling your in-laws and asking them just where they're living now? I don't know what game you're trying to pull, but I just want you to know that the jig is up and you aren't going to scare me anymore. John called his dad and asked where he and his mom were right now. They told us that they had actually moved and that if we were going to see them, we would have to brace ourselves. But that can only mean one thing to me. It must mean that they moved to an even bigger and better house and they want to surprise us. I bet it's going to be huge, like 3 stories with a pool, maybe even a statue garden. Oh man, it's going to be like living in a palace, I bet. I can't wait to see their new place so I can rub it in your face. What the heck is going on here? Please tell me this is some kind of sick joke or something. Just what even is this place? Ugh, what is it? What do you want this time? Why can't you just experience something and keep your thoughts to yourself, huh? I mean, I don't understand. We went to the address that John's parents gave us, and it just took us to the crappy old apartment that you live in. This doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, is that where you're at right now? Well, I guess I should have guessed that that was what was going on. What are you talking about? You mean you knew this was going to happen? What else aren't you telling me? I have a right to know. I already told you I'm the wrong person to ask if you want answers. If you really want to know what's going on, you need to ask your in-laws. But why? Why can't you just tell me what's happening? Why are you trying to play these games with me? I just don't really see why I should have to explain anything to you at all after what you did to me. If you want answers, you're going to have to go out and find them yourself. I have got a really, really bad feeling about this. I know I'm not going to like whatever comes next. Oh wow, it's already morning. I had no idea that time was even passing. I was just spacing out for so long. After hearing about how John's father was kicked out of his position as CEO and John lost his role in upper management, I don't think I've moved a single inch since they've told me. So I take it that means you finally worked up the courage to ask your parents about what was going on? Did John and his father come clean to you about getting caught embezzling from the company? That's why the board of directors decided that the next CEO would have to be someone from outside the family. I know, they told me about all of that already. I was so shocked that I've been sitting in place for hours now. I only noticed it was morning because the sun began to shine in my eyes and it finally snapped me out of my trance. And when I came to, we were still in this tiny little apartment. Well, you better get used to it. That is going to be your life from now on. The two of them were sued by the company and made to return all the money that they had stolen. Then they were fired. So they really were fired then? It's not just a suspension or a demotion or something like that? That's right. In fact, I had a feeling that John was doing this even when we were married. It was actually one of the reasons I was so keen to leave him when I did. I know that he and his dad were lining their pockets with the company's money even if I didn't have any proof. I confronted John one day and he ended up spilling everything to me. But it wasn't long after that I found out you two were seeing each other. So I figured I would just rescue myself from the problem and walk away. You have got to be kidding me. How could you just let me walk straight into this situation? I didn't think that you'd be stupid enough not to realize what was happening. But you were, and you tried rubbing your marriage to him in my face. So then that's why we were living in this tiny little apartment? Are you telling me that you're really paying more than $3,000 a month for this place? Sorry, but you seem to be mistaken again there, Lisa. What are you talking about? What more could you possibly have to tell me? I'm not sure just how much more of this I can take, Carmen. That apartment actually belongs to a friend of mine who helped me out after John and I got divorced. But that isn't the $300 apartment that I'm talking about. The place I live and pay rent for is in another town, if you must know. Wait, so then this isn't your address? But I thought that you were living in this apartment. I know that's what you thought, but you came up with that all on your own and never bothered to check with me if it was really true. But I thought that you were just a housewife. How can you afford that price for an even nice place, even though you weren't even working before? I was never ever a housewife, even when John and I were married, Lisa. What do you mean by that? What did you do then? I thought you just laze around the house and would clean from time to time or make John dinner. Well, you're wrong about that. I was working. It was just that I had a job that I could do from home. I was selling real estate from home and actually managed to make a pretty decent salary for myself. You're kidding me. I had no idea that that's what you were doing. Why didn't I know about that? But if I can be honest with you, I only pay a third of the rent for the place I'm at now. The rest of the money comes from Mom and Dad. But why would they be paying for your apartment? That doesn't make any sense. Well, that's because they're here living with me in this very apartment, of course. Wait, what? They're living with you in your apartment right now? You mean you really didn't know about this at all? Then again, Mom and Dad do always tell me how they do their best to avoid talking to you ever since you stole your own sister's husband from her. So I guess it makes sense that they wouldn't tell you about their move out to live with me. But Dad even talked to his company and asked for a transfer out here so that he and Mom could come and be with me. I don't know what to say to that. I mean, I really had no idea that any of that had happened at all. You mean that Dad really never mentioned any of this to you at all? Well, he might have said one thing, but I didn't know that you were all going to live together in some really nice place. I thought that you had just convinced Mom and Dad to take your side and that you were going to live with them to mooch off of them. And have you heard it all from Dad since he talked about people moving? I haven't at all. That's probably because both Mom and Dad have blocked you on everything and never want to talk to you again. But I thought that they were just having money problems and couldn't afford to pay for their phones. I can't believe they would do that to me after already being so mean about my marriage. You mean your marriage to my ex-husband who you stole from me? Did you really think that Mom or Dad were ever going to go for that? I mean, you know how much Dad talks about the importance of making your own way through the world. He was so disappointed in you when he found out that you had just stolen my husband all because you heard he was rich. But now you and John's family can all work hard to afford that tiny little place together. Don't worry, the rent is quite cheap. It's 10 times less than what I'm paying. How did it all come to this? I just don't understand. This isn't fair. I ended up showing my parents the final conversation that I had with Lisa, and they just shook their heads. I feel like a part of them is holding out hope in their hearts that Lisa's going to have some sense knocked into her, but I just don't have time to hold out for that anymore. We all wonder about what went wrong with Lisa and how she ended up the way she did. My parents think that they might have spoiled her too much as the younger sister. She never worked a day in her life and could basically get anything she asked for. But now I guess she'll have to learn to take care of her own and others now that her and John's family will all be looking for work soon. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.